Okay, I've got it. It's working now.
Right, cool.
Okay, cool. Got it all sorted. Right. So, Rick, I mean, what have you been doing then for the last few years? Because I know you took a hiatus, didn't you? You and the rest of the boys. So, what have you been up to yourself?
Well, I guess the main thing is being a dad, which sort of happened about 3 years ago. So, taking advantage of the chance to be around. You know, I think very few new dads get the chance to spend so much time with their kids. So, I feel like that sort of was timed very well. That and a bit of cycling and a bit of exercise. But generally speaking, just kind of decompressing a bit. Honestly, I thought it was done. I thought we were, finished. So, I didn't really think about Keane a huge amount during that time. Weirdly, it sort of was in. It almost felt like it was just in a past life or something.
Oh, okay. I mean, when you guys obviously took the decision to go on the break, then, or was it something a bit more serious than that? You know, when you obviously stopped, was it 2012? I think it was when the last album came out.
Yeah, we knew. We had. Tom had said that he wanted to do some solo stuff.
Yeah.
I think he's always found it quite a blessing and a curse not being the songwriter.
Okay.
Keane.
Yeah.
The number of times you do an interview and someone asks him about lyrics and he sort of has to sort of politely deflect the question to Tim. I think after 10 years of that, he just kind of felt like he wanted. He does write songs. He always has, and he just wanted to do his thing. And I think that meant stepping away from Keane. I think he always feels like Tim is the songwriter in Keane, but so Tom wanted to do his own thing, and also take the helm sort of creatively, because rather than and just see and challenge himself, which we understood, but at the time I think we resented a little bit. I certainly did, and so it was a bit of a mess, and I didn't think we were going to come back. And he told us while we were touring Strangeland, and then we put out this sort of compilation. And I think by that point, we were all pretty much sort of fed up with the sort of slow death of the band. In the end, it just just kind of fell apart, really.
I mean, I guess it was. It's how always comes with bands, isn't it? I guess if you got the songwriter, and then you got the bit of animosity, I guess there. But like you said, you've touched on that anyway. But I mean, how did you get to all come back together then as one? If that makes any sense.
Well, Tim had written these sort of. He'd effectively made a solo record.
Yeah.
That he eventually. Tom and I managed to persuade him to play us that or send us the songs, and we both thought it was really great. And Tim and Tom had a chance to sort of just catch up a little bit a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And I think they just really enjoyed each other's company, and then Tom really enjoyed this solo record. I really enjoyed it, but Tim had sort of lost confidence in it. A few people had told him it wasn't very good, and but Tom and I both thought it was great. So we just said, well, look, why don't we all record these songs and we'll make another Keane record. And I think enough time had passed that we were up for it, and we all were a little bit nervous about it, but we basically said, look, we'll only do it if it's fun. We're not going to go crazy. We're not going to go on a world tour that lasts 18 months and never goes, and we never get to see our homes again. We just said we'd do it, but do it on our terms, and so far it's been really great.
Yeah, because I've listened to the Way I Feel. It's quite a catchy track, actually.
Thank you.
No, I can see why. I mean, I was to the other. I think there's 5 songs I've listened to that I was given access to. And I can see why you've come back. It is a bit more fun. It seems it's very, very modern as well. Do you know what I mean? But it's also got elements of, the Way I Feel especially, got elements of, say, I don't know, oh my goodness, like an 1980s feel to it. I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but it's great, you know. But it's very modern, but it's I don't know. It's just a unique sound to it. I don't know.
Thank you very much.
But I mean, I'm not the best expert. I'm a good writer, but when it comes to talking, stuff, I have to write it down. But no, I it's catchy and I like it. And I thought, oh, this is really, it's really. I mean, I like all your stuff you've done. I mean, your first two albums were immense, weren't they? And your third album, and I think your fourth album as well. But I think your first two cemented your worldwide sort of popularity, didn't they? You know, that they were both killer albums.
Yeah, they did. We did, and we toured an awful lot around that. We did work. We were on a lot of planes.
I mean, how did you cope with all that, though? I mean, obviously you went from probably 0 to 60 in about a second once the first album went massive. I mean, what how did you cope with all that?
Well, I don't think we did, really.
Okay.
I think we went a bit bonkers, and that was sort of the start of the period where Tom ended up sort of
In rehab.
in the Priory, and
Yeah.
it was all a bit bonkers, really. We just kind of, and we went straight from touring the first record into recording the second one. I mean, literally our equipment went from the last gig to the recording studio to just start again, and I think that's when it all went a bit tits up initially, and it was a very strange time. We went from playing little clubs to being on stage in Hyde Park at Live Aid with hundreds of thousands of people, and Paul McCartney standing at the side of the stage, and it was very strange, And I think what I failed to appreciate at the time was, if it was strange for me sitting at the back, imagine how it felt for Tom standing in the front with everyone looking at him. It's a very, very weird period of time, and I don't think anything can prepare you for what that does to your brain. You get very confused, and suddenly it's very important that you're at a certain place at a certain time. And it's very easy to confuse that for feeling like you are very important. You're not. You're just still the same dickhead who plays the drums or whatever. But it's very confusing. And you start. I think it's very easy to lose your bearings. I think we all did for a while. It is, and unfortunately that sort of, I think in a way we were so sort of, it was such a whirlwind. I think it doesn't bring you closer together. I think in a way it sort of pulls you, it fries your brain a bit, and in a way it's very easy for egos to sort of get a bit ahead of themselves. I mean, that certainly happened with me. So it was a strange time.
I mean, what was the awakening for you then? And what made you realise that you were maybe going in a different direction you should have been? Like mentally, and what made you realise? Was it having a family, getting married, or anything like that? Was it something which stopped you from, say, I don't know, ending up like say Tom did and going to the Priory? I'm not saying you did get into that level that he did, but I mean, what sort of was the catalyst for you to stop you going down a certain path?
Yeah, I was quite lucky that I met the girl that ended up marrying sort of around that point. And she doesn't take any shit.
My wife the same.
and that but at the same time, she's incredibly supportive and loving, and that probably helped a great deal.
I hear that quite a lot.
We're surrounded by good people. We have the same manager now that we had before. The guy who used to help us get gigs. When we were at university and just living in London and doing shitty jobs. The guy that was helping us get a gig at the Falcon in Camden is our manager. And
I know that place.
He still is, and so if you're lucky enough to meet people that you trust and that can talk to you honestly, then I think that gives you a chance.
No, I agree. I think it's to be surrounded by people that were there at the start. It means so much rather than being twisted and taken on a ride by all these bullshits. Or you want to sign with us, you want to do this, and that's when the egos become well, your ego, the egos disappear, I guess.
Yeah.
But no,
Even the head of our label now is the guy that we met, before we had a record deal. And,
okay.
We do have a history with the people that we work with, and I think it's, it makes it quite enjoyable and satisfying, because you feel like all these people who, frankly do work very, very hard, effectively on our behalf. They are people that we can look in the eye and enjoy their company. So that does help.
I've got to talk before. I can talk to you all day on different things, but I've got to make sure I mention about the tour coming up as well, because I know you got the albums coming out in September.
Yeah, that's right.
And you're on tour around the country, including Belfast as well, and Dublin, which is obviously not part of the UK. Are you guys all set for that? I mean, it's obviously been a while since you've toured. I mean, I know you're all older, and but are you all happy and motivated for the tour?
Yeah, we really are. I mean, this record, we're very, very proud of the record, and we've been doing a few festivals and a few little shows around the place, and we've had a chance to play a few things for people. But once the record's out and people are really getting to know the songs, I think there are a few songs on there that people are really going to love. I can't wait to play it to them. That we're already talking about set lists and things, and whilst it's really nice playing festivals, there's nothing quite like getting on a tour bus and knowing that you're taking your show around from place to place. It's a long time since we've had the chance to do that, so I'm very excited about it.
I mean, have you got any sort of more warm-up sort of gigs coming up then before the tour around the country?
We've got a few more shows. We're doing some little shows in the States, which should be really fun.
Yeah.
A few more things. And then we've put aside a little bit of time for sort of rehearsals before the UK tour, because we want it to be special. It's we played at Glastonbury the other day, and we played at the Isle of Wight, and both of those shows have there's been this sort of incredible kind of warmth in the crowd that. Yeah. No, I mean, sometimes you say this stuff and it's bollocks, and you know it when you're saying it, but genuinely there's been this kind of feeling of people just kind of enjoying that we're back and we're playing songs together, and songs that people really love. A lot of the Hopes and Fears came out 15 years ago. It's a long time for people to live with music. There are people whose kids were babies who are now coming to gigs, and it felt very special doing those shows. So we want to make sure the tour does that even more so.
But it's like you just said then about what you get from performing, not like bullshit or bollocks like you said, but it's a two-way thing, isn't it? Because you build your confidence off the crowd as well, because if the crowd are feeling it, you're feeling it, and you get that sort of, I don't know what it is, but that feeling, I guess, where it's working, and like you said, you knew the crowd want Keane to be back, and they are back, and they're appreciating that, and I know what you mean, because I'm a big Keane fan. I am, so I'm glad you guys are back, and I'm glad you guys are you sort of found a really good balance with the band right now. Would you say?
Oh well, I'm glad you think so. That's very kind of you to say. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh no worries. I mean, I know that obviously Tom did a few things, didn't he? He did a tour recently, did with the Queen or something to do with Queen? Was that right?
Yeah, it was brilliant. I went to the first one. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, but I mean, I saw his name on that. I'm thinking, hang on a minute, it did say Keane or something. I know, obviously, I knew who he was, but then I was just double checking it wasn't a different Tom. But no, it was quite different. But have you yourself? I know you play the drums, and you can sort of hide behind the drums when you're on a stage. But have you ever thought about doing something as interesting? Let's just use the word interesting as what Tom did.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like Keane is sort of the thing that I do, and we've been very lucky that we've known each other so long, and honestly, I thought it was done. So for me, it's just a bonus that we're back and doing more stuff. And I didn't really have an ambition to do anything else. I did get asked to 10 years away, you need a very good reason to, to not stay at home.
Yeah.
And nothing came along that made me want to go back on the road. And until my friends, and I got back together. And so, I feel like this is sort of what I do, and the rest of it, I'll worry about that another time.
Yeah, I mean, what's the wife said? Is she happy that you're going to be, you're back out there, and she can get sort of peace and quiet for a few weeks, I guess?
I'd have to ask. She seems happy enough.
All right.
I mean, obviously, we're all. I mean, she's been very supportive. She loves the new stuff too. So, and my son is constantly asking for it. So actually, I think my wife's probably growing quite sick of it, because it's all she ever listens to when she's in the car, because my son insists on hearing it basically 24 hours a day. It's very sweet.
Yeah. I mean, with the new album then, was it all written by Tim, or was it any of co-written by you guys? Did you sort of, arrange anything, or was it all?
It was, the main songs and the words were all written by Tim, but there were slightly different to previous records. There were a few moments where we knew we sort of left a gap where we wanted to fill it with something interesting, but we hadn't quite worked out what that was going to be. So that process with our producer David was really was quite new, actually, and there was a bit more experimenting on this one than on Strangeland, which sort of was pretty fully formed when we went into the studio. With this one, I think we were finding our way a little bit, following our noses. But we wanted to challenge ourselves, and David Costin, our producer, definitely pushed us to not just settle for the first sort of good idea, but to shoot for a great idea or whatever. So hopefully that comes across.
Yeah, I mean, how many tracks were there? I mean, lined up for this album. I mean, I know obviously you wouldn't be just set on, say, the selection that was there. There would have been more that were written by Tim. But I mean, how did you all sort of decide what was going to go on the album, or was it just a case of all down?
We had about, I guess we had 25 or 30 tracks that Tim had written, and then we picked about 16, and we soon whittled those down to. We recorded 14, so. There's 2 bonus tracks, and then there's one that we might do something with next year.
Okay.
That was pretty much it. We've selected the songs sort of because they do sort of. It's not like a concept record from start to finish where it's a journey, but they do tell this story of Tim's. The last few years in Tim's life have been quite hard. His marriage broken down, and the songs have a real sort of heart that they, and the way we selected the 11 tracks that are the main record, that were definitely the ones that sort of fitted together in that sort of. In that time frame and in that sort of story, so it was quite. In the end, it wasn't just what are the 11 catchiest songs or whatever. It was more like what are the 11 that really sort of fit together thematically and in the end sonically as well. But the one I'm talking about for next year is actually it sounds brilliant. It's a really great track that we're very proud of, but it just didn't work with the others and. So it didn't make the record, and I feel like that decision was that's quite a new thing for us. In the past, I think we'd have just
put it on there.
Picked, the 11 songs that we thought sounded best or whatever. But, I'm being waved at frantically, so I think I have to.
I think they did. No. I think they only give me like 15 minutes, but I could talk to you all day. So, but no. It's been lovely talking to you, mate. Honestly, thanks, Richard.
Pleasure, absolute pleasure. Hopefully, catch you at a gig.
Yeah, I'll look. I know you're not coming to Wales, but I think you're going to be doing Birmingham. I'll speak to PR and get to come and say hello or something anyway, and come see you at a gig. But no, thanks, man. I really appreciate it, and like I say, all the best for the album and the tour, and I'll hopefully get to see you at some point.
Right, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks, mate. Cheers. Bye bye.